What's up, people? I'm Zen Scissors, and today I'm going to try and show you the ropes of the new Killer Instinct nice and quick. There's a lot of shit to cover, so I apologize if I end up going a mile a minute here or there. But that's why there's a pause button, right? So we'll cover things like all the things that make up your arsenal of moves, the meters of this game and the wild options they give you, and the unique combo system of the game, and all the moving parts that make it up. It sounds so simple when I put it like that. But either way, we should probably get started since I don't want this video to be an hour long. Let's begin our tour, shall we? So, what's a normal, I hear you asking from beyond space and time? Well, you just gotta hit a button to find out. Bam, there you go. That's a normal for you right there. KI is what is known as a traditional 6-button fighter, meaning there's the 3 strengths, the light, the medium, and the heavy, spread across the 2 attacks, the punches and the kicks. 2 times 3 equals 6, simple as that. So you got the light punch, the medium punch, the heavy punch, the light kick, the medium kick, and the heavy kick. Simple stuff, right? Normals also change if you are crouching or jumping, so you have more to keep track of than you might think. These can be great for jumping in on people, stopping people from jumping in on you, opening people for a combo, and lots more. These are essentially the foundation of your offense, so knowing what you got is pretty important. So, command moves are the next set of tools a character will have in their arsenal. These are done with either a direction and a button, all 3 punches, or all 3 kicks. It really depends on who you're playing. Command moves usually have a very specific place in a character's kit. Some are strictly offensive tools, while others have mobility or defensive capabilities. Again, it really depends on who you're playing. Alright, so specials are the flashy, fun things that people remember characters for in a fighting game. In Killer Instinct, characters have moves that are tied to motions into buttons. So a motion is something like quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, forward down forward, back forward, or down up. And these inputs are going through either your stick or your pad depending on what you're using. Most characters will have around 4 special moves at their disposal, though some will have more or less. These vary incredibly from character to character. But there are some mainstays like projectiles for controlling screen space, reversals for getting opponents off of you, carries for an attack with good range that calls out poor positioning, command grabs for big damage hits and intimidation, and multi-hitters for a safer up-close pressure option. These are the lifeblood of combos and also have specific purposes to a character and their survival. So walking is pretty self-explanatory, I would hope. You hold forward, you walk forward. You hold back, you walk back. But if you hit a direction twice quickly, you will move forward or backward in a quick burst called a dash. Some characters have better dashes than others, some having dashes almost only as a joke. Some characters also lack a dash at all and instead have a run that is like a continuous dash, which has its blessings and its curses. Forward dashes are good for taking ground quickly when your opponent gives you an inch, and back dashes, which have invincibility frames for part of their duration, can be good for getting you out of sticky situations. By pressing both lights, you will grab your opponent and toss them around. Most characters throw the enemy straight onto the ground, but some will give you a chance for a juggle afterwards. These are unblockable attacks, but they are also incredibly stubby. A whiffed grab is super punishable, so don't just throw these out on a whim. While they can't be blocked, they can be stopped by throwing at the same time. This is called teching. Throws are a good way to challenge your opponent's defense and goad them into something other than a block. So yeah, what do I even need to say here? Life is your health. When you run out, you're fucking dead. The real thing to cover here, though, is that KI is not a round-based game, but rather bar-based. Instead of being a best 2 out of 3 game with a single health bar like a Street Fighter, KI characters have 2 health bars. If the first life bar runs out for either character, there's a brief pause before the match starts up again. When the second one runs out, well, you know, you're dead. While the distinction may not seem that big off the bat, the strategy that develops around 2 health bars is important to understand. Like pretty much every modern fighting game, Killer Instinct has a special meter that gives characters an edge when they need it. Instead of being called EX like it is in Street Fighter, it's called Shadow Meter. Pretty much every character in KI has 2 bars of shadow they can have at once, which they can use in several ways. Shadow has both offensive and defensive uses that make pretty much anyone with meter a threat. How do you get Shadow? Normals and specials, my friend. Either hitting or getting hit gives you Shadow, and block moves will give out even more Shadow. Offense tends to get more meter than defense, so if you're looking for resources, get to work. One of the main uses for Shadow Meter is that it can be applied to specials to turn them into Shadow moves. By doing the move's input with either 2 punches or kicks, you'll unleash one of these bad boys. A traditional Shadow move will freeze the screen for a brief moment and surround your character in purple goop before firing off. Most Shadow moves are purely offensive, but some are purely defensive, or a trade-off for another resource. A traditional Shadow move will also hit 5 times, while some will hit more and some will hit less. Beyond that, Shadow versions of some moves will add special properties to them. Moves can become immune to throws or become immune to projectiles by adding a bar of Shadow to them, depending on the move. Shadow moves are great options to have for powering through your opponent's offense, getting the opponent off your back, or even supplementing your own offense. So make sure you save your resources for when you need them. Alright, so beyond just leaking out purple whenever you want on the offense, there is another way to use your meter on defense. When you're blocking your opponent, you can hit both mediums to enter a counter stance at the cost of a bar. If you get hit while in this stance, you perform a Shadow counter, which is a canned Shadow move that catches the foe and gives you a combo opportunity. Don't just throw these out though. If you screw this up, you lose that bar of Shadow and you're probably going to get punished super hard. Oh, we're not done with meters yet. Characters also have another meter that sits under their life bar. This is called Instinct. Instinct is a mode you activate that drastically changes how your character acts. Most instincts are designed to fill in a hole in a character's gameplay, to make them a vastly stronger character for an amount of time. Because of this, every instinct is wildly different from one another. You gain instinct by taking damage, and that's about it, meaning you'll only get around 2 instinct activations a game. Once the meter is full, you hit both heavies and the screen will freeze as your character does some wild pose. And then it's up to you to unleash hell upon your opponent. Find a good time to activate so you can get the most out of your instinct. And do your best to wait your opponent's instinct out when they pop theirs. Okay, so now let's actually talk about how combos work in this game. To technically open a combo, you need to perform, well, what else? An opener. So what are openers? Pretty much every special that leaves the other person grounded will open a combo, other than like fireballs and stuff. While normals and command moves are almost never openers, air normals do act as openers, and grounded normals can be cancelled into specials that are openers. This is what is known as hit confirming. KI is a game that is very reliant upon combos, so knowing what opens them and what doesn't is going to be very important. Now, once you've opened a combo, you have a couple options as to what to do. The first we'll talk about are linkers. So a linker is a special you use while in a combo that continues it. Most characters will have around 2 or 3 of these. Linkers will often have different properties to them as well, such as dealing a little more damage than the others, or moving the enemy a little further than the others. Light and medium linkers are done with their respective buttons, while heavy linkers require you to hold either the light or the medium. Why can't you use the heavy button? We'll get to that pretty soon. You can tell the strength of a linker by how many times it hits. Lights will hit once, mediums twice, and heavies thrice. You can also use shadow moves as linkers, though not all linkers are shadow linkers, and all shadow linkers are not also linkers. It's weird. These are an essential part of performing combos in KI though, so get a good grasp on them. Another option you have after an opener is called an auto double. This is what your normal buttons do while you are in the game's combo state. As the name lays out, an auto double automatically does an attack that hits twice that visually resembles its parent normal. It's worth noting that doubles work based off strengths, so knowing when to apply the right strength is nice knowledge to have. Lights are fast but make combos shorter, while heavies are slow but allow for longer combos. After an opener, you can alternate between linkers and auto doubles to continue the combo before you choose to end it. These are also an essential part of performing combos in Killer Instinct, so get used to these. Yet another option you have while in a combo that is a little trickier to master is called a manual. Now, a manual requires you to technically exit the game's combo system while your opponent is still stuck in the huge hit stun of it. With specific timing, after a linker or opener, hit a button and you'll do a normal instead of its corresponding double. As such, you'll only hit the opponent once instead of twice. The use of this will become apparent pretty soon. Just remember that you can only perform a manual after a linker of the same or larger strength. So that means, for example, no heavy manuals after a light linker. These are not an essential part of performing combos in Killer Instinct, but they do come in handy. So, now it's time we start finishing our combos like big kids. By doing a special move in a combo with a heavy button, you'll perform the corresponding ender tied to it. It's important to know that pretty much all the damage of a combo comes from cashing it out with an ender. So if you don't use enders, you're not going to get far. There are a multitude of different ender types that have different purposes depending on the context of the situation. Common ones you'll run into are battery enders that give you more meter than the others, wall splat enders that push the enemy forward and cause them to bounce off the wall if they hit it, launcher enders that knock the enemy high into the air and give you juggle opportunities, and damage enders that just shit out tons of damage, and that's about it. You can even add shadow to some enders to make them extra powerful. Knowing what enders you have and when to use them will be paramount in any fight. Every character in KI has a unique way that they can interact with the combo system, and these are called combo traits. Some combo traits are as simple as being able to mash auto doubles, while others become a whole new part of your combo game altogether. Like most character-specific mechanics in KI, combo traits are vastly different from one another, and not all of them are made equal. Some are simply better than others. But knowing what way your character can work around the combo system is a nice ace in the hole to have if you play it right. Alright, now we can start the real fun. KI is pretty infamous for combo breakers, but there's more to them than a fun announcer callout. By hitting both buttons of a strength while getting comboed, you will knock your opponent back and the game returns to neutral. In order to break a combo, you have to break the same strength of whatever move is hitting you at the moment. Getting hit by a heavy auto double? Hit both heavies and get that fucker out of there. A medium linker? Hit both mediums and slap their shit. Light manual? Hit both lights and you're having none of it. What about breaking a shadow move? You have to successfully break 3 of the hits in a shadow move by using both mediums to get out of it. If you hit the wrong strengths, the game will tell you what you should have hit, and you'll be locked out from trying again for 3 seconds. That's enough time to lose like half your life, man. So put some thought into your breakers. You can also lock out if you mistime your breaks with the correct strength, with the same 3-second penalty. Now, you can spend your time memorizing all the unique attack animations in the game and their strengths, but I find it easier to learn how your character reacts to being hit. Every character has unique reeling back animations for each of the 3 strengths. I find it makes it a lot easier to go off that. Now don't worry, the offense doesn't miss out on the fun when it comes to combo breakers. They can hit both mediums at any time to enter a counter state that will catch any combo breaker and stop that shit in its tracks. This is a counter breaker, plain and simple. It will lock the opponent out for 4 seconds before they can attempt to break again, giving you ample time to stomp their face into the pavement. These are a great way to convince your opponent that breaking is dangerous, giving you the chance to get some combos in. However, if you are a little too counter-happy, a failed counter breaker will leave you open to a punish. Learn your enemy's breaking habits, and then prey on their mistakes to make your opponent afraid to break and let you style on them. So why aren't combos in KI infinites if you can just string linkers and doubles until you want to end it? Short answer, the KV meter, my friend. The KV meter counts up to 100 as you beat up the enemy, blowing out the combo if you go past and denying you your ender opportunity. There's also these pips that light up green that determine the level of your ender, ranging from 1 at the lowest and 4 at the highest. The more the better. So how do your combo tools interact with this meter? Light doubles add the most KV, but they are the hardest to break. Heavies, on the other hand, add the least KV, but are the easiest to break. If you activate Instinct, you'll reset the KV meter, which can be devastating in the hands of some characters. In short, just remember, always finish your food. You might be wondering, why do enders do all the damage in a combo? A little thing called potential damage. When you combo the opponent, you can notice this blinking white build up on their life bar as you hit them. That's potential damage. If you perform a combo and end it, it'll cash out all that blinking white, and then some. The amount of potential damage determines the level of the ender. That is, unless the combo doesn't have a breakable window, in which case it won't cash it out and is breakable with heavies. However, make sure you get that cash out. If the enemy sits on potential damage and you don't attack them, it'll start to regen automatically after 3 seconds. On top of that, a successful combo breaker grants them half their potential damage back instantly. Some characters rely on potential damage more than others, so knowing how to attack and defend when PD is on the line is very important. Can't forget about another infamous part of KI, the Ultra Combo. When you reach the last 15% of your life bar, you enter the danger state. When in this, you can be Ultra Comboed. An Ultra Combo is an extended canned combo that automatically ends the match without you having to tag the final bits of health off your opponent. The input for Ultra is character specific, but it'll just be a special with all 3 punches or kicks. You can also perform an Ultra at any point in a combo on someone in danger, meaning you can go right from opener to Ultra, and you should because Ultras can't be broken. Maybe you don't want to watch the entire Ultra though. Well, while in it, just hit both mediums to perform an Ultra Ender and finish it off in style. You can cancel Ultras with Instinct as well, and then activate your Ultra again. Some characters can get up to 3 Ultras if they have the resources, with hit counts reaching into the hundreds. Whether you're playing for fun or for serious, Ultras have their applications. Well, I think we'll leave it at that for now. Lots to cover, huh? This is a very surface-level explanation and analysis of KI as a game, but it should help you get started if you haven't. I recommend checking out the game's tutorial called The Dojo. It's one of the better in-game tutorials for a fighting game, so see what wisdom that drops on you. As for me, I covered everything that came to mind very briefly. Keep in mind I am by no means skilled at this game. I can, however, comprehend most of the stuff in it. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. I wouldn't be surprised if you had more questions after this video than you did before. If you are looking for another community resource for the game that's way more informative than me and has a lot more time and work put into it than this, go check out Infil's guide that painstakingly covers just about every nook and cranny of the game. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Either way, that's that. I'm Zen, and that's it for me. Take care, people.